Hello students, so here we are into zoology NEET class, and in our previous class we were actually learning about the evidences for evolution, right. So today we are going to learn few more things which will support the evolution of the life on the earth. Okay, so see students, we human beings are there, right. So we are creating different kinds of breeds of plants, different kinds of animals by selectively breeding them, isn't it. So we are preparing a varieties of plants, we are preparing a varieties of animals, microorganisms, many varieties of organisms we human beings are preparing, isn't it. So though we are preparing the organisms of different types, they are somehow belonging to the same group of animals, right. So we are able to prepare different dogs of our required breeds by selective breeding. Though they are all dogs, they are showing different varieties in the breeds, right. So different varieties of plants are also produced by the man. So now you see, the man, which is one of the creations of evolution, which is one of the organism created due to evolution, is itself able to do such miracles. So why don't you think that evolution can bring up the formation of new organisms? Yes, evolution is resulting in the formation of new varieties of organisms. Okay, so see students, there was one observation made in England, okay, to support this evolution, that is industrial melanism, okay, which is like industrial melanism in England. There was one observation made, okay, in one place in England in 1950s, okay, a varieties of moths were observed, okay. The moths in 1950s in England, 1950s, the moths were observed, okay. So when the moths were observed in the 1950s in the England, okay, so it was observed that many of the organisms, many of the moths, they were white winged ones only, okay. During 1950s, many of the moths, they were white winged moths, okay. They were white winged moths when they were observed in 1950s. Many of them were white winged moths, and there were only very few moths who were dark winged, or they were showing melanism. Melanism was shown by only very few moths. Many of the moths they were white winged only. So this was the observation which was luckily made before, during 1950s only, okay. But later on, around 1980s, okay, around 1980s, the same experiments were performed, okay. The same experiments were performed later on around in 1980s in the same place, and it was observed that there were more of melanized moths. There were more of the melanized moths, and a very few moths were white winged moths. Only a very few moths were white winged moths, okay. So only few were white winged. Why more melanized forms? Because during this time industrialization has occurred, okay. During this time industrialization has occurred. So what happened before industrialization was, before industrialization, you know, the trees were covered with the lichens. Trees were covered with the lichens. Trees were covered with white colored lichens. White colored lichens. Okay, the trees were covered by white colored lichens. When? Before industrialization, okay, the trees were covered with the white colored lichens. So when the trees are covered with the white colored lichens, the surface of the tree barks, they appeared white in color, okay. The surface of the tree barks appeared white in color. So in this background of the lichen covered tree barks, these white colored moths, they were camouflaged. White moths, they got camouflaged, okay. Camouflaged means they got mixed up in the white colored background, okay. They were unidentified by their predators. They were camouflaged, so they were left unidentified by their predators. They were unidentified by the predators. Okay, they were unidentified by their predators. So, because of the camouflaging, the white moths, they camouflaged with the white background on the barks created by the lichens. They got camouflaged and they were left unidentified by their predators. Okay, that is why before industrialization we have observed white moths were more and the dark moths were less. So, this is the reason behind the presence of white moths more before industrialization. But after industrialization, what happened was, remember one thing, here lichens are found only in those areas where there is no pollution. Lichens are indicative for pollution. Okay, lichens are indicative for pollution. Lichens are found in those places where there is no pollution. Okay, so in those places where there is pollution, we don't observe lichens forming. So here what happened, after industrialization, because of the pollution, lichens were absent. Because of the pollution, lichens were absent. Okay, when the lichens were absent and the tree barks, they were covered by smoke and soot. They were covered by smoke and soot coming from the industries, Okay, they were covered with the smoke and soot coming from the industries. This resulted in the tree barks to become black in color. The tree barks then became black in color. So now during after industrialization, again the same experiment was done, that is the black moths and white moths, they were identified, their numbers were identified. Okay, so after industrialization it was observed that black moths were more. Okay, black moths were more than the white moths. Okay, because white moths were less, because on this dark background of the trees, white moths, they were easily identified by the predators. They were easily identified by the predators. Okay, in the dark background, these white colored moths, they were easily identified by the predators and their number has rapidly decreased. Whereas black moths, in case of industrialization, they showed camouflage. Okay, because they were dark in color, black colored moths on the black colored barks, they were unidentified by the predators. They have undergone camouflaging now. So in this case, white moths were less. So observe now, before industrialization, white moths were more. Whereas after industrialization, dark moths are more. So in this way, students, natural selection during industrialization has favored the black colored moths. So black colored moths, they were under positive selection pressure. Black colored moths, they were under positive selection pressure. Black colored moths, they were under positive selection pressure. That is why black colored moths, they existed during industrialization, and white colored moths, they were decreased in the number after industrialization. Okay, so this is how natural selection occurs, students. There is nature itself is selecting the organisms which are suitable for that particular place. Nobody is coming and picking the organisms, right? So nature itself is selecting the organisms which are better able to survive in that particular area. So this is natural selection. And when some other rural area during the same time was observed, when some other rural area during the same time of industrialization was observed, the condition was same as that of before industrialization in the rural areas. Okay, the conditions was they were same as that of the before industrialization only. In the rural areas, there was normal white moths more, black moths were less, because in the rural areas there was less pollution. So black moths were less and white moths were more during industrialization also in the rural areas, because in the rural areas pollution was less. Okay, so here students, that is about example of moths in the England. Okay, Then next we have a few more examples also. You know, by the usage of the present day herbicides and pesticides, by the usage of present day herbicides and pesticides, resistant forms are forming, okay. Herbicides, pesticides or drugs we are using in the present day, the usage of these different substances is resulting in the formation of the resistant forms, okay. This usage of different substances is resulting in the formation of resistant forms. So the formation of drug resistant or pesticide resistant forms are forming, okay. Drug resistance or pesticide resistant forms are now forming. See, the rate of formation of these resistant forms is very alarming, okay. It is not going to take many years or tens or hundreds of years. It is going to show the effect. The resistant forms are formed within few weeks to few months to few years only. Within few years time only, the resistant forms of the organisms are forming now, because this is anthropogenic evolution, man-made evolution, okay. So this evolution is man-made. The earlier days or whatever the disease causing ones, they were not having any resistance to that particular herbicide, pesticide or a drug, but we are exposing them to those drugs or herbicides, and because of us man exposing them to the drugs or chemicals, what is happening, those organisms which can serve betterly, they are surviving. Natural selection of those organisms is occurring, and those organisms are only continuing in the next generations. That is why disease resistant ones, pesticide resistant ones or drug resistant forms of organisms are forming. So man-made evolution is very alarming. It is very dangerous also, okay. Anthropogenic evolution, man-made evolution. Anthropogenic evolution is very fast, okay. So that's about one more evidences, a few more evidences which are supporting that evolution of species is occurring, evolution of living organisms is occurring, okay. So let us now learn one more concept. We are now going to learn about adaptive radiation. Adaptive radiation, okay. See, when Darwin was Charles Darwin, when he was moving in his ship HMS Beagle, when Darwin was moving around the world in his ship, he stopped at an island called as Galapagos, okay. He stopped at an island called as Galapagos, okay, Galapagos. In Galapagos Islands, he has stopped, okay. And he observed some dark colored birds here in this place, okay. He observed some dark colored birds in this place, and of those birds, after Darwin, they were called as Darwin's finches. Darwin's finches, they are actually birds called as finches, but after Darwin has identified them, they are called as Darwin's finches, okay. So it was like, you know, one island only. Galapagos Island is one small island, but he has observed that there were different beak shaped birds were formed, okay. Different beak shaped finches were observed in this particular island only, okay. In this particular island, the finches were having different shapes of their beaks. They were having different shapes of their beaks, okay. Their beaks were having different shapes. Some of the beaks were suited to eat, some beaks they were suitable to eat the meat, like the insect. Some of the beaks were suitable to eat the insects, for eating the insects. Some beaks were suitable for eating the fruits or vegetables. Some of the beaks were suitable for eating the vegetarian food. Okay, so in that way those organisms are present in the same place. Okay, they were present in the same place, but still they are showing differences in their beaks. Some were having different shapes beaks, different sized beaks to suit their life, to live, eat the insects, or to eat the different vegetarian foods, to eat the fruits, to eat the seeds. Like that they were having different shapes of their beaks to suit their mode of eating. Okay, so here he has observed that though the organisms are present in the same place, depending upon the requirements of the organisms, they are evolving in different ways. That means in order to try to that mode of in order to try to adopt to that particular mode of life, they are showing some changes within them. They are trying to adapt to that particular habitat. So that kind of changes taken by the organisms, in order to adapt to different conditions is called as adaptive radiation. Okay, so that conditions which are the animals are developing in order to make their life suitable to that particular condition is called as adaptive radiation. Okay, so this adaptive radiation may lead to it may lead to divergent evolution also. It may lead to divergent evolution also. Okay, adaptive radiation, it may lead even to divergent evolution. Divergent evolution in the sense single species is differentiating into many different types of species. Like we found many different types of finches in the Galapagos Islands. In the future they may become a new species. Like that the adaptive radiation, it may lead to divergent evolution. Okay, so this is one example showing divergent evolution, that is the finches of Darwin in Galapagos Islands. And if you observe marsupials in the Australia, you observe Australia is like an island. It is surrounded completely by the island. So this continent, Australian island like Australian continent, it is surrounded fully by the water, and the development of marsupials in the Australia has occurred. Okay, marsupials are found only in Australia. These marsupials are of different types. Okay, marsupials are of different types. Okay, so different marsupials have been developed in the Australia itself. So the presence of different types of marsupials in the same place is indicating the adaptive radiation in marsupials of Australia. Okay, so that is about another example for adaptive radiation occurring in the marsupials in Australia. Okay, so these marsupials which are occurring in Australia, they are showing some features to that of the other organisms in the other places. Okay, they are showing some similarities with the organisms present in some other places. Marsupials in Australia are showing some similarities with organisms in other places, Okay, so here we say that for example marsupials in Australia, all of them have placenta. The other organisms in the other places will also have placenta. Okay, so in that way the organisms, though they are living in the different places, they are developing the same characters. Some marsupials, they develop same characters as some of the organisms present in some other places. So here this is going to be an example for convergent evolution. Convergent evolution. Convergent evolution means the organisms are present in the different geographical areas but still developing same characters, that is convergent evolution. Geographical area is different, but they are developing same characters. Okay, geographical area is different but they are developing the same characters. So this is the difference between the convergent and divergent evolution. Adaptive radiation will result in the divergent evolution. That means the organisms will be present in the same geographical area, but due to the differences in the conditions that they are coming across, due to the different factors, they are differentiating into different varieties. That is adaptive radiation leading to divergent evolution. There is convergent evolution also, that means geographical area is different but they develop same characters because of the same requirements. Okay, that is adaptive radiation. Then we have biological evolution. Okay, biological evolution. Biological evolution means what? So, the formation of new variety of organisms from the existing organisms is biological evolution. Biological evolution means from the existing organisms, new variety of organisms are going to arise. That is called as biological evolution. Okay. So, Darwin is a person who very clearly explains that evolution is due to natural selection. Darwin is a person who very clearly explains that Darwin explains that evolution, biological evolution is due to natural selection, which means that he is trying to say that nature itself is selecting what kind of organisms are suited to live in that particular place. Nature itself will select what kind of organisms are better able to live in that particular place. Okay. So, Darwin has given an example. For example, if you are growing a bacteria A in one medium, if we are growing a bacteria A, okay, after some time what do? We transfer this bacteria from medium A from one medium into another medium. We transfer this bacteria into another medium. This bacteria is sent into another medium which is new to the bacterium. So, what happens? Those bacteria which cannot adapt themselves to this medium, they will die. Those bacteria which cannot adapt themselves to this medium, they will die. Those bacteria which cannot adapt to this medium, to this new medium, they will die. Okay. And those which can adapt to this medium will survive. They will survive. Okay. And this new bacteria is going to become bacteria B. Bacteria B. Okay. Because this is a new variety, it is now able to live in this medium, new medium also it is able to survive. So, this is now become the bacteria B. Okay. So, in this way earlier which was bacteria A, because of the change in the medium and because of its ability to adapt to this changed medium, it has become a new bacteria, bacteria B. Okay. So, here students, in case of microorganisms like bacteria or viruses, their lifespan is very short, right. So, in case of organisms whose lifespan is short, in them evolution can be observed. In them evolution can be observed. Okay. In the other organisms, like if you see a fox or a tiger, you cannot observe evolution. Evolution cannot be observed. Evolution cannot be observed in these organisms. Evolution cannot be observed. Why evolution cannot be observed in these organisms? It is because their lifespan is very large. Fox or a tiger, their lifespan is very long. It takes nearly years for them to complete the lifespan. Yes. So, that is the reason why we cannot observe the evolution occurring in these organisms. Lifespan is very short and our human lifespan is not enough to study the evolutionary changes occurring in these organisms with such a long lifespan. Okay. So, for that reason students, we can understand that lifespan is related to evolution. Lifespan is related to evolution. Okay. Lifespan is short, then more evolution can occur. More evolution can occur. That means when the lifespan is short, many changes can occur, because slowly the organism will be continuously multiplying in numbers generation after generation. Because the lifespan is short, many different generations can be formed in a short time and evolutions can be observed. Okay, more evolution can be observed. So, this is what is according to Darwin, and he is also saying that natural selection will operate on the organisms. So, natural selection will operate on those organisms. If whatever the changes that are beneficial for the survival of the organism, those beneficial variations will be retained within the organism. Onto it natural selection will operate. That means nature itself will select those kind of organisms which can be better fitting into the place. Okay. So, natural selection will occur in the organisms, and this natural selection of the organisms is occurring, right. So, this is inheritable, that means those characters which are selected by the nature, those characters which are selected by natural selections, they can be inherited, okay. That means they can pass from one generation to another generation. In that way, slowly natural selection will be occurring in the different generations. Natural selection after occurring, the beneficial variations will be accumulated, resulting in the formation of a new organism on some time, okay. So, that is about according to natural selection by Charles Darwin. So, but before this natural selection proposed by Charles Darwin only, Lamarck proposed one more concept of use or disuse of the organism, use or disuse. So, he proposed the principle of use or disuse. This principle of use or disuse is saying that the organs or the parts of the body which are used more will be growing more, the organs or the parts which are used less will be growing less. That was explained by the use or disuse or by the Lamarck, okay. So, he has given the example of giraffe. Giraffe was first it ate all the plants which are at lower height. So, earlier the giraffe was very short, having very short neck. Later on what it had to do, because of the scarcity of the plants which are there in the lower region, it had to take the taller plants for eating, okay. Because it has to eat the taller plants, it always raised its neck and forelimbs. That is why giraffe has got long neck and long forelimbs, because it has to eat the tall plants. For eating the tall plants, it had to always use its neck and forelimbs. That is why its neck and forelimbs, they have become very tall, okay. So, that was the explanation given by Lamarck according to use and disuse principle. But this was sounding better that time, but after that this theory of use or disuse is not accepted anymore, okay. So, and that is according to Lamarck. So, students, there were many other observations made after Lamarck which were also supporting natural selection. So, there were some aspects put forward by Lamarck which are clearly explaining that yes, natural selection is occurring, okay. So, those aspects which are put forward by the Lamarck are, Darwin was, the population can grow exponentially, a population, it can grow exponentially. That means it can multiply in the number, okay. But in reality, the population will be growing arithmetically only, the population will be growing growing, okay. So, students, for the survival of the organisms, there are many factors required. There is a necessity for proper food, necessity for proper place for the organisms, and there is also a necessity for the organisms to have a reproductive potential. So, generally reproductive potential is very high in the organisms, but not all the eggs or not all the sperms produced by the individuals are fertilized, no. So, if all the eggs or all the sperms produced by the individuals are getting fertilized, then there will be lot of organisms on the earth, yes. So, students, for example, you see fish produces near many thousands of eggs. If all the fishes are fertilized, then it will someday it will lead to all the lakes, all the rivers getting filled with the fishes only. So, that is not happening. There is always a balance in nature, right. So, students, there is a control over the reproductive potential of organisms. The reproductive potential is controlled, reproductive potential of the organisms is controlled, and all the individuals of the reproductive age are not reproducing, no. All the individuals of the reproductive age are not reproducing, all the individuals of the reproductive age, they are not involved in reproduction. In that way, the population growth is going to be favored by natural selection. The individuals survival will be favored by natural selection. And he is also saying that minor variations occur in the organisms, minor variations will occur in the organisms in order to suit their life to that particular place. Minor variations will occur in the organisms. These are inherited. Okay, these are inherited. Okay, minor variations are occurring in the organisms which are inherited. These variations will be getting accumulated, and these variations will be also subjected to natural selection. Okay. So, this was according to the Darwin's natural selection theory. Okay. So, let us now see how exactly natural selection has occurred. What is the mechanism behind evolution? Okay, we have learnt about natural selection, right? So, now we are going to learn about the mechanism behind evolution, mechanism of evolution. Okay. So, students, Darwin's natural selection theory is not completely applicable to the organisms. See, minor variations in the organisms, all of them, they cannot be inherited. Okay, minor variations in the organisms, they cannot be inherited, and these minor variations are also very slow in the organisms for evolution to occur. Okay, so there were some experiments made, there were some observations made by Hugo de Vries on a plant called Enothera. Okay, on a plant called Enothera, he has made some experiments, and he has observed that mutations are responsible for evolution. Okay, he observed that mutations are responsible for evolution. Mutations are the sudden inheritable changes. Mutations are the sudden inheritable changes which are occurring in the living organisms. Okay. So, he is saying that yes, mutations are occurring in the organisms, mutations are the sudden inheritable changes occurring in the organisms, these are responsible for the evolution to occur. Okay. So, he is explaining that Darwin has actually focused on the process of evolution, but not the reason for evolution. He has said that natural selection is occurring, so organisms are forming. But what is the mechanism behind it? What is the mechanism behind the evolution? That is mutations. This was explained by Hugo de Vries. Okay, mutations are sudden, random, inheritable changes. Okay, which occur in the organisms. These mutations can be beneficial, or they can be neutral, or they can be harmful also. Okay. If there are harmful variation, that organism won't be surviving. If there is any neutral individual, then there will be no difference. If there is a beneficial variation, yes, this will favor the survival of this organism. Beneficial variations will favor the more survival of this kind of organisms. These organisms will be continuing, these organisms will be selected by the nature, beneficial variations are selected by the nature, and these organisms will be able to represent themselves in the next generations. Okay. So, that is why mutations are the main reasons for natural selections. Okay. Mutations are the main reasons for evolution to occur. So, the major mechanism behind evolution is mutations. Mutations are the major mechanism behind the evolution. Okay. So, see students, this was according to the concepts which were proposed by Hugo de Vries. So, now this mutations occurring due to natural mutations occurring in the organisms is now believed to be the one of the reasons for the evolution to occur, and on these mutations natural selection is going to operate. On these mutations only natural selection will be operating. So, this was the theory which was proposed by Hugo de Vries. Okay. So, now students, we have a conclusion now that mechanism of evolution might be due to mutations. Okay, mechanism of evolution, it might be due to mutations. So this is all about the mechanism of evolution. Okay, so that's all for today, students. In our today's class we have learned many more new concepts. We have learnt about some evidences for supporting the evolution of organisms. We have learnt about adaptive radiation. We have also learnt about convergent and divergent evolutions. We have learnt about the biological evolution and the mechanism behind evolution. Okay, so all these are direct concepts, nothing so big, nothing so complicated to be learned. Everything is very simple and all theory based only. Okay, so that's all for today, students. We have a lot more to learn about evolution. We will learn regarding more concepts related to evolution in our next class. Thank you all for joining.